Okay, actually looks like a lot of our guests have already joined, so we'll have a few more trickle in, so let's just get started. So thank you everyone for joining us for Video Talks today. My name is Dorothy Mirak. I'm the Digital Media Marketing Manager here at Grandstream. For any of you who haven't joined a Video Talk before, Video Talks are a live and interactive video series that where we present a variety of different topics related to Grandstream and our industry. For today's video talk, we are lucky to be joined by Ashdhir Kinra, our special guest. He is the CEO and founder of Cohesive Technologies. Ashdhir and Cohesive have been with Grandstream since our early days and are one of our very close and trusted partners. So thank you very much, Ashdhir, for joining us today. For the video talk, we will actually be covering contact center solutions and the products and features that Grandstream offers to create customizable and comprehensive contact center deployments. This is an area where Ashdhir is very, very experienced and will have a lot of great insight and information for us. Towards the end of our video talk, we'll have time for a live question and answer session. You can use the chat feature on the right-hand side of your web browser or through your IP Video Talk mobile application to submit your questions. During the Q&A, we'll also be joined by Hugh Hun, the Director of Support for APAC. He'll be able to help with any of our questions during this time. So without further ado, we'll dive right into our presentation. Thank you again, Ashdhir, for joining us, and everybody else for joining in as well. So let's get started. All right. Great. So as I mentioned today, we will be discussing contact center solutions with our special guest, Ashdhir Kinra from Cohesive. So we'll start quickly with a company overview, both for Grandstream and Cohesive, and then we will dive into the UCM series IPPBX, which is the IPPBX that will host most of the contact center solutions that we'll discuss. We'll discuss the contact center specific solutions as well as new enhancements that are coming. We'll discuss AMI capability and Cradle solutions in detail, since these are some very comprehensive and customizable features available. And then we'll also discuss the GXP series phones, of course, as the endpoints that you'll need for your contact center, and some coming enhancements that Grandstream will be releasing shortly. So for those of you who might be new to Grandstream, we were founded in 2002, and we have over 600 employees worldwide. Our product portfolio contains over 40 different products, including a video conferencing system, which you are actually seeing in action right now, as well as wireless networking products, audio conference phone, 17 different IP phones, which we'll touch on shortly. We have a variety of ATAs and analog gateways, as well as surveillance cameras, and of course our popular UCM series of IPPBXs, which will be one of the main focuses for our presentation today. We primarily serve small to medium-sized businesses and consumer markets. And as you see on the right-hand side, we have presence all over the world. Our headquarters is in Boston, Massachusetts, which is where I'm located right now. We also have offices in Los Angeles, California, and Dallas, Texas. We have warehouses and distribution in China, as well as offices in Morocco, Venezuela, and a large warehouse in the Netherlands as well. So Ashdhir, I'll pass it on to you so you can introduce us to Cohesive.
Yeah, good evening everyone, and good day to everyone who's globally in different time zones. Cohesive is working with Grandstream, I think, for years now, and Grandstream is one of the portfolio we carry. Cohesive main strength is that, as you say that, we distribute the products of Grandstream, as well as we work as a system integrator and work with partners and resellers globally at APAC and level as well, and create some solutions which work around with Grandstream and create a solution for all segments, either it is retail, residential, large enterprise, hospitality. Like today we are focusing on call centers and BPO industry, but yes, people can come back to us later where we can give them and ideas on all the solutions what we offer. We do offer consultations and configurations to the customers where the customers feel happy and good about it, that we work with them and we make sure that they are seamless, migrate to their existing infra. We make sure that their existing infra doesn't go as a dead investment. Oh, and then we work with the partners like one family as what Grandstream and Cohesive does. Yeah. Can we go ahead, Tuti?
Absolutely. So that was a great introduction for Grandstream and Cohesive, and now we'll dive into the presentation. So as I mentioned, one of the main portions of the contact center solution that Grandstream provides starts with our IP-PBX. Now we offer two different versions. We have the UCM 6200 series and the UCM 6510. Both are Astra-based, so you have the open source technology there, and both have won great awards within the industry. An important thing to note is that our IP-PBXs are come with no licensing fees, so what you buy is what you get, and all of our firmware upgrades and extra features that we provide come completely free. They just come through a firmware upgrade, and you are able to enjoy all these new features as they come out without having to pay extra for these developments. So to go into more detail on the UCM 6200 series, this is our main IP-PBX, or our bestseller, I must say, and it comes in three different sizes, 2, 4, and 8 FXO trunk port models. And then each one has 2 FXS ports, all with lifeline capability. Now, the series can support up to 100 concurrent calls and up to 32 conference attendees, depending on the size you select. You can also have up to 800 SIP endpoints and up to 50 SIP trunk accounts. All support dual gigabit network ports, integrated PoE, USB, and SD ports for external storage. Another great feature is zero configuration endpoint provisioning, which means that if you're using a Grandstream endpoint, you can use the zero configuration feature, which will make the deployment and configuration of your endpoints that much faster. And as I mentioned, no licensing fees ever. All firmware upgrades and new features come completely free. The other model that we offer is the UCM 6510. Now this is a larger capacity appliance, but it also contains an E1T1J1 interface. So this has 2 PSTN trunk FXO ports and 2 FXS ports. Also supports up to 2,000 SIP endpoints, so it does have a much higher capacity than the UCM 6200 series, and up to 50 SIP trunk accounts. Same as the UCM 6200, the UCM 6510 supports dual gigabit network ports, integrated PoE, USB, and SD ports, and as mentioned, zero configuration and no licensing fees. So just to give you an idea of all the, well, not all the features, some of the main features of the UCM series, especially those that are particularly important to call center solutions. You've got gigabit network ports, so you've got the highest speed possible. There's system backup to make sure you never lose any of your important configurations and information. We have voicemail to email features, call detail records, voicemail, fax to email as well. You can support up to 2,000 users when using the UCM 6510. They also come with a good amount of security. We want to make sure that nobody has to ever worry about any security issues when using our products. As mentioned, it does have zero configuration to even help with making your deployments that much quicker. And of course, they support both SIP video and audio. And call recording is built right in. There's internal storage for that, but also you can use the USB and SD ports for additional storage. They can support LDAP as well as an extensive call queue that is customizable. We'll go into that a little bit later. Of course, we also support an IVR, customizable as well, auto attendant. So we'll go into a lot more of these details throughout the presentation. Now, one of the most important things when thinking about an IP-PBX is to make sure that it's customizable for your own uses. Every company, every contact center, every business is going to have their own needs. So we want to make sure that we can provide you with an IP-PBX that you can customize according to what you need. So there are customizable call routing routes, auto attendant, IVR, customizable call queue configurations, different forms of call forwarding and call retrieval. We do offer music on hold. Don't worry, that's of course customizable. So if you don't like some of the crappy music you hear at other companies, you can make sure that yours is stocked with something you like. Also customizable transfer features, ring groups and hunt groups, as well as different inbound and outbound routes and multiple mode. Another important feature is, of course, supporting a comprehensive list of audio codecs. So you can choose from the list you see here based on your deployment needs. And when it comes to security, no one wants to leave any gaps here. Security, as we know, no matter where you're located, is incredibly important. So the UCM series features a built-in firewall, 802.1x network security, SRTP TLS encryption, HTTPS web UI, blacklist, whitelist, so you can control the phone numbers coming in, and of course real-time Asterisk security monitoring. Being an Asterisk-based platform, we do offer a lot of the great features that Asterisk already provides for everyone else on their platform. Now we'll dive into contact center features. Of course, that's the what we're focusing on today in our video talk. So what we'll discuss specifically for contact centers are the call recording features, call detail records, or CDR. We'll also dive into CTI, computer telephony integration, which is a relatively new feature for Grandstream. We will also discuss integration with CRM platforms, the customizable IVR, call management features including the call queue, ring group, transfer and forward, call barging, listening, or spying, depending on the terms you like to use, and of course integrated phone book and scheduling. Alrighty, so one of the most important things for a call center is, of course, your IVR and your auto attendant service. You aren't going to typically have someone call in and speak to a person right off the bat. You want to be able to, bring them to the right path, bring them to the right person that they need to speak to. So our IVR features are incredibly customizable. You can either use pre-recorded or you can customize your own message. But we do include welcome prompt, a full IVR menu, operator, call transfer, etc., to make sure that you can customize your IVR and the transfers exactly how you need them. When it comes to the call queue, ring group, transfer, and other features, we have a comprehensive list, and of course that buzzword I keep using, customizable, to make sure that you are able to set up your phone system as need be for your contact center. So being able to control exactly how your call queue works, exactly how your ring group will transfer around different attendants or different departments, how easy it is to transfer someone from one attendant to another or one department to another. All of this is incredibly important, not only to help your customer have a good experience when calling in to the contact center, but also to make sure that the workflow for your employees is easy and efficient, and make sure that you have a flexible work environment for everything that might come through to your contact center. So some of the main features that we frequently get asked about, and of course we cover, are going to be listed here. So call recording, obviously very main feature in contact centers, and within the UCM series itself, you can support up to 500,000 minutes of call recording within the built-in memory. And calls are saved directly into the internal memory, but you can also extend the length of the memory by using a USB flash drive. You can play and download the recordings directly from the web UI of the UCM 6200 or UCM 6510. We also offer a wide range of spy features. So you have listen spy, or just coming in listening onto a call without any access to speak. Whispering, where you can speak on only one side of the call, so you can whisper to your attendant, help them train, or give them some tips, especially if they're on a new call or a particularly difficult call. And then, of course, the barge feature, where you can just enter the call as a new participant to have multiple participants on the call. And then time settings. You can configure your office times, holiday times, and control your agent availability based on the time settings that you set within the UCM. This would control the forwarding and inbound rules, and of course, the messages that customers hear if they call in, your office happens to be closed, or you're off on holiday, etc. Another important feature is the integrated phone book, and then servers and calendars. So that way, all of your information is within the IPPBX. It's not just routing your calls. It's also controlling your phone book, getting that to your endpoints, such as your GXP phones. So you could use LDAP to sync your files with the PBX rather than having to do it individually through every single phone. And we also integrate with Google Calendar, so you can schedule calls, reserve meeting rooms, and such to really create a comprehensive solution within the IP-PBX itself. And then, of course, what is a contact center without being able to review your call detail records? So we do offer that feature built in. You can view your phone usage records, broken down by your line, date, time, etc. If you happen to be in the hospitality industry, you can also create detailed billing and call logs, and of course monitor your calling habits of your users. So it's not just of your attendants that are helping your users, but also how are your users using your service? How are they calling in, and using that data to be able to tweak your offering and to tweak the service you provide to make sure you're giving your users what they're looking for. Now, CTI, or Computer Telephony Integration, is a new feature that we released just a couple weeks or months ago on the IP-PBX. And what CTI is, and many of you may already be familiar with the general term of CTI, but it's a desktop application that enables click-to-dial and call management functions directly from a desktop or laptop computer. So it essentially mirrors your phone with your desktop. So you don't always have to pick up the phone, manually dial. You can do everything through your desktop or laptop. You can view all your answered, dialed, and missed calls. So you've got a lot of call management features there, as well as any transfers you've made. You can use the dialer feature to dial out directly, but it also does allow click to dial. And then you can manage your call forwarding, do not disturb, and all your other related call settings that you'd be able to manage through your phone. These are just some quick screenshots. You can kind of see the interface for CTI. It's very easy to use. It's very intuitive. It either mirrors your phone or other CTI applications you've used in the past. So it's not difficult to set up. It's got a very quick and easy configuration. You just use a little code to connect the app from your desktop to your phone, and should be something that every user can pick up very quickly. So now I'm going to pass it on to Ashdhir so he can give us some more information on CRM and Cradle, two things that he is very, very knowledgeable about, although honestly he could do the entire presentation without me. He knows everything so well. So pass it on to you, Ashdhir.
Thank you, Dorothy. Now, I again, just want to give a brief what Dorothy said. If we're going to count it on our fingers, is that Grandstream has a IP-PBX, which has 30-45 concurrent calls. They have 100 concurrent calls and 200 concurrent calls, extensions up to 2000, sitting on Asterisk 13, which is the latest version of Asterisk. And Grandstream, as soon as the Asterisk upgrades, the Grandstream also make their PBXs to the latest Asterisk features. It supports voice logs, it supports license codecs, which are 729, 264, and we guys are working on 265 as well. We have features like barge in, whisper in, listen in, which are the three types of modes of which a supervisor use while talking to an agent or an outside world. Nevertheless, let me also tell you that our PBX also supports WebRTC. WebRTC is a new technology which is coming globally now, where people intend to do the voice communication through www, to the web. Google and Mozilla are aggressively supporting it. So once you are on a WebRTC, it is not only limited to the voice, but it goes on to the video on the browser. As Dorothy said, that we are into CDRs, we have come up with a CTI application. A CTI application not only talks about as an application on the desktop, but it also syncs with your Grandstream phone. So whatever control you are doing as an agent on the Grandstream phone, you can do it through a small app sitting on the desktop. Now, it's astonish and wonder when Grandstream PBX has so many features, which is a stability, which has video, which has a voice, which has a CTI capability, then why not call center? We discussed with Grandstream in and out for last couple of months, and they were working on it. And now it's a good news that Grandstream has a built-in API of Salesforce and Sugar CRM ready on the product, which is sitting on a SOAP and REST API. These are web-based APIs, which will, if you have some questions, you can put it on the chat window. These are standard vanilla web-based APIs which works like a sync on HTTP to any of the CRM available in the world. Salesforce and Sugar CRM APIs are built into it. So any call center, when you go and try to sell a call center, people are using these CRMs, and their first question to salesman is that, can your product integrate with our CRM or a CRM which we intend to buy? So the answer is yes, because we support all web-based APIs on Grandstream. To the next slide now.
Sure.
The control is with you, I think, if I'm not wrong, on the presentation. So this is what we spoke about on the previous slide. We can just jump on it.
Alrighty.
Okay. Asterisks. We at Grandstream as a company was very open for people like us, system integrators and developers, to give an AMI interface open to people. So there can be a hotel software guy, there can be a ERP, there can be a CRM, there can be any third-party application which can talk to Asterisk sitting on Grandstream box, which is Asterisk 13, through an AMI interface, and we give the full control of the UCM, which can be done through a third-party application. The third-party application can be a normal CTI phone on the screen, and the third-party application can be a Salesforce integrating and talking to the PBX, where the control of all telephony windows sit on Salesforce instead of those telephony windows working on the Grandstream IP phone. So we just go ahead. Do you think we can change the slide now? Okay, these are some technical slides where we just tell people that how to add that AMI user. Once the user is added on the portal, on the Grandstream GUI, you can get a connector directly, and you can start talking to your own software. Can we just jump now? Yeah, one more.
Sure, and just to mention very quickly, for the AMI guide for all of this, we actually have it directly on grandstream.com. We will send a follow-up email with the presentation, with the recording, but we will also make sure we link to that PDF. So for those of you who are more interested in AMI, you can check out our full guide online. Back to you, Ashdhir.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Now, this is what I was talking about it. Now, just think about a situation that there is one call center product, okay, in the market. There are plenty. You can name the guys, you can name Altitude, you can talk to Nobel, you can talk to any call center. Generally, 80% of the call centers, good call centers, are today switching over to Asterisk, okay. Now, considering that there is a third-party guy, like what we are Cradle, they have a call center module, which has an email module, an inbound module, an IVR, the CDR reports, the call management, the CTI, the CRM, everything has been plugged in as a module to the box. And it just talks to UCM on one single AMI interface. Job is over. Now, if you see this, it is a very clean installation, where the stability comes into the picture. You avoid multiple call servers, which is a need of the day. Today, any Asterisk call center guy has to have multiple call servers, which we just go off by putting one UCM. And over and above that, because it is an appliance based, it gives you more stability with an Asterisk 13 and a license codex. So this is a win-win situation for everyone, for the customer, for the developer, and for the Grandstream. We can just go ahead. Now, these are the modules. The modules can be 1, 2, 3, or everything. If you see, it's a very, very important thing. If you remember the slide what Dorothy showed, she showed that on the CTI capability, she has a DND and DNC sitting on it. Any call center, either it is UK, US, globally, or in India, people talk of Ofcom compliance, people talk of DNC compliance in India. So it's very, very important. Some people have CRM, which is Zendesk CRM sitting on the ticketing module. They have Sales CRM, which is like Salesforce or Sugar CRM. So everything talks to UCM as a core through AMI, and you can sell totality as one solution to the end customer, or a modules based on your selling proposition to the end customer. Do you see next slide? Yes. Now, I think this schematic should be very clear what we spoke. The first is we are showing you a router where you have either a PRI coming in, or a VoIP, or a SIP trunk coming in case of an international dialing, based on the country where are you from, or based on the service provider you have chosen from. And then we have a unified call manager. It can be in Grandstream 6202, 48, or 6510, based on the concurrent calls and the number of agents you want to give it. And if you see, we have just one server, which is CRM application and database server. We are off with all the call servers which are required. And generally, there is a cost of a dual Xeon quad core 16 GB RAM costs around $3,000 US. And for 100 seats or 200 seats, you have to put 4 call servers, which are off by replacing it with 6510. So this is what the beauty is. So you don't need multiple call servers. Your mean time between failure increases drastically high. You have an IVR designer built in. Believe me, the call center guys who gives IVR designers, they charge you like hell. They cost you around $10,000 to $15,000 for just a designer component scripting tool built in. Based on the CRM you are pitching in, like Cradle has a CRM which is a scripter built in. Otherwise, there are CRMs available in the market which you can talk to it. So license codex is what Duti has already spoken about it. We can move ahead. Very good. Now this is a second scenario which is actually coming in India a lot. I am not sure about how it would be so interest or globally, but generally whenever you go to sell a call center to any customer, any enterprise customer, he says, Ashdhir, I need a call center or help desk of 10 seats, 20 seats, 30 seats or 100 seats. But Jolly, I have 100 extensions as a back office, but I don't want to pay you the licenses for call center for that. Can you integrate my back office seamlessly with my call center? So if you see the schematic here, the UCM on one end, based on the DID and the routing which you are doing it on the UCM, it is giving you a direct DID access to the back office extension, as well as it is giving you an access to the Cradle, which is a CRM and application database, and the agents are running. So there are multiple installations in India where we have picked up this order through our partners, where we have worked aggressively with them just because the end customer wants some 100 back office extensions and 10 or 15 extensions as a call center help desk. It worked beautifully. The IVR designer built in gave another thumbs up, and we were not able to lose any single deal on it. We can just move ahead. So as we just discussed, so the Cradle has an IVR, the ACD algorithm, the agent does the supervisor. But why we are showing you all this slide, that Cradle takes all this information to give you those dashboards and serial or IVR or routing from the AMI, from the UCM, which is an appliance. So we guys are creating a front face of those applications, but all the RTP packets, all the voice logs, everything is coming from the UCM. We can move ahead. Similarly, the same scenario goes for outbound. A lot of people ask for an outbound dialer. They ask for a solution where they want calls to be made for marketing campaigns or collection campaigns. So you can have any third-party application, either Cradle or any third-party application, which you can plug into this box, and through the AMI interface, they can do the calling outside. Just we have to keep it in our mind, based on the agents, we have to check what are the concurrent call capacity our UCM has, because in a call center the traffic is high, either it is inbound or outbound, so you have to define the pacing ratio and everything. So based on your inbound traffic or an outbound traffic, you have to choose the UCM, create an AMI interface, and run any application which can be inbound and outbound. We move ahead. So this is something related to the Cradle. So we have created a panel of a screen where I can see the agents which are logged in. I can see the queue. I can see the calls are being picked or not. Are they busy? They are not. They are log in. They are log out. So all that dashboard, we are taking the information from the UCM and showing it in a dashboard format. We can move ahead. So because it's a call center based presentation and webinar, so it would have gone halfway if we would not have shown you some reports. So all the CDR details which we fetch from UCM, we have the reports of agents, we have the reports of group, we have the reports of queue, we have the reports of basic agent CDR to check the quality control and the SLA and efficiency which agent carries. Yes, Jyoti, let's move ahead on that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ashdhir.
Yes, over to you.
Yep. So now I'll go over some of the call center enhancements that are going to be integrated within the UCM over the next couple months. Now, just to remind everyone, in case you have just joined, all of our updates come through our firmware, and our firmware is offered completely free. So there are no licensing charges, there's no charge for upgraded firmware for these new features. So when they do become available, all it takes is a firmware upgrade. So that just makes the UCM series even that much more easy to use and, of course, more cost effective. So what we're going to do is integrate further call center statistics support. So we're going to enable all of our users to monitor and manage and evaluate your contact center in more detail. You'll be able to see the number of received calls, answered, missed, abandoned, and transferred calls, along with your answered, unanswered rates, abandoned rates, average talk time, waiting time, and more. So right now, a lot of those great features are supported in Cradle. We will also be integrating some more features into the UCM itself as well. We also will be adding a web-based call center solution, so that way it basically allows a more expansive view into the phone system with the users and the call activities, and it provides more detail on the calls, more call control features, and the ability to check on extensions in real time. So just a way to manage everything in an easy interface and give you a lot more control over your large contact center solution. And then we will also be providing some call queue enhancements. So even more customization available in the call queue. It will also be able to support a larger call queue for those customers who need it. Now, it wouldn't be a call center without the phones and other devices that you need to support the entire system. So, of course, the Grandstream PBXs work flawlessly with our IP phones, and we actually support that zero configuration feature, which allows you to very quickly configure and deploy all of these phones in a large network. No need to individually configure each one, but because they're using the UCM, it'll auto-detect everything, and you can use that zero config feature. Now, there are three main phone lines that Grandstream offers within the GXP IP phones. We also offer a video phone line, but that one is a little bit less used for call centers, so we'll focus on the GXP phones for now. So we start with the basic IP phones, which are the GXP 1600 series. Now, this is typically the most popular phone series for contact center deployments. Now, these are simple, easy-to-use IP phones for those that need access to VoIP but don't need to have a lot of advanced features such as Bluetooth, for example. Within the GXP 1600 series, you can have anywhere between a one-line phone to a three-line phone, and we also offer mini BLF features on certain models if that is something that you are looking for. Our newest series of phones are the GXP 1700 series, or that mid-range IP phone. Now, this is a little bit of a step up in capacity from the basic IP phones, and we integrated a sleek, modern design with that mid-range capacity and feature set so that businesses who want a bit lower of a price point still have a phone that they can grow into, and one that still gives them the features that they need without having to go for the high-end phones, and especially when setting up a very large call center. Sometimes you don't need those high-end phones, but the mid-range phones will give you the call capacity that you need without a very high price tag. A good or unique feature of the GXP 1700 series is it actually has on-screen virtual BLF keys. So you wouldn't use an extension module for BLF, you can actually configure them directly on screen. So there's two models within the GXP 1700 series. You can support anywhere between 4 and 8 lines and anywhere between 24 and 32 virtual on-screen BLF keys. And then the last one is the high-end IP phone line, so GXP 2100 series. Now this is our longest standing line and also one of our most popular as a general phone worldwide. But the GXP 2100 series are a higher-end phone that features a larger colored screen, and it also features Bluetooth for not only headset compatibility but also integration with mobile devices. So it's their higher call capacity, anywhere between 3 and 12 lines, and a lot of different BLF key configurations. You can either have paper BLF keys physically on the phone, you can use BLF extension modules, or you can actually have that virtual BLF feature on screen. So the phone you see pictured there is the 2170, and that features the virtual BLF keys where you can actually configure them on screen rather than having an extension module. And we also offer a free soft phone application for Android and iOS. And this is a great way to connect your phone to your mobile device, or even if you don't have a desktop phone, connect your phone back to your IP-PBX or even service provider. So it supports up to 6 SIP accounts and 6-way audio conferencing, and then also features, your general call features that everyone looks for: call transfer, your LDAP phone book, virtual DLF keys, and such. And you can natively integrate this with your mobile device, including your contacts, call history, and ringtones. So you can have all the features that your iPhone already has and that you're using in terms of your contacts and your ringtones while using this device or this soft phone application. Now it is available for Android and iOS. I know a lot of people are probably going to ask, what about Windows phones? We do not have one for Windows, but for that we recommend Bria and Zoiper. They do integrate seamlessly with our phones and IP-PBXs, and they do offer free as well as paid versions. Alrighty, and lastly, I'll quickly just go over our FXS analog gateways. So, some deployments may only need an IP-PBX, but for those users who will need additional FXS ports, we offer a line of FXS gateways. So we have the GXW 4000 series, which come in 2 sizes, 4 and 8 port FXS gateways. They feature mid-tier capacity, support multiple SIP profiles, auto provisioning, and comprehensive telephony features. And then if you are in need for a high-density gateway, you can go with the GXW 4200 series. Now this comes in 16, 24, 32, and 48 FXS ports. Sorry, lots of talking today. So this would be for those who need a lot more of an FXS integration back into their IP-PBX. So it does, of course, support multiple SIP profiles, auto provisioning, and a broad range of telephony features, as well as gigabit network ports, and this is rack mountable. All right, I'm going to pass it back on to you, Ashdhir, so you can give us an idea of our ITSP and soft switch certification situation. I know this is a big one for you.
Yeah. No, the IP phones of Grandstream, we have actually, in India, Genesis was earlier erstwhile Alcatel. I'm talking about a 1 year backstory or 2 years backstory, The IP phones, Grandstream, I'm not just saying because we are doing a webinar of Grandstream, but phones are so seamlessly integrated to any of the IP-PBX, at least I had seen in last 18 years of my experience, either it is an Alcatel now or Genesis, or Unify, you name NEC, the products work seamlessly. If they support SIP, Avaya, you name it, Aspect, Altitude, Grandstream phones work with any. So any of the IP-PBX or the call center solution providers, I remember a case in India where they were using Genesis call center for around 2,000 seats, and they came back to us. And the gentleman who's there silently replying to all the queries which are having right now on the chat, Hugh and me, we have worked so closely on this project, and we were able to deliver the customized IP phone for Genesis, where the agents can see the XML inputs on the LCD screen of IP phone through the Genesis product. And we were able to back this deal, and Grandstream products are not only the products which talk to everyone or which works with different, the people and the team which is sitting on the back of Grandstream are flexible to do and go any step ahead to make it work with any of the product, either Broadsoft or Genesis Alcatel. So that's a compliment from my side to you and your team.
Thank you.
Rosie, you can go ahead on that. Yeah, here I'm just talking big about cohesive. So we have so much of client base, so there's nothing great about it. I think all the system integrators and friends who are there with us in the bridge, they would be selling volumes and volumes. But yes, this sheet is just to tell you and inform you that we have some great international and domestic brands who are working on Grandstream and cohesive in totality, and we are giving them a service and a delightful customer in time to come. Yeah, we can move ahead, Ruthie. Any other slide? Yeah, thank you very much for just putting my last slide. That's all from my side. Thank you, friends.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ashdhir. So now we are open to the live Q&A, so you can submit your questions using the chat feature on the right-hand side of your web browser. If you happen to be using the Android or iOS app, there's also a chat feature available there. So you can start submitting your questions, and we actually have Hugh Hun, our Director of Support for APAC, and many of you might already see he's helping out in the chat, but we'll start answering your questions live as well. So feel free to start submitting them there, and I will be able to direct them to either Ashdhir, Hugh, or even myself, depending on the content. So let me switch back out of this presentation. Thank you again, Ashdhir. And here we are again. So for anyone, any questions you've got, please feel free to send them to us now, and we'll get to answering them live. Alrighty. And let me get Hugh in here.
There is one interesting question, which I just saw on the last, that people are asking that can you plug in more PRIs to UCM? Okay. So I just want to tell people over here, the group here, that we are talking of 200 concurrent calls. A PRI has 30 channels, or a T1 in US has 24 channels. So we can have multiple PRI gateways. So UCM talks as a SIP term. So we can have multiple gateways till the time the concurrent calls is not a limitation to you. I think Hugh is replying a lot, but Dorothy, we can reply back to them if we on the email to everyone, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Or you want
absolutely.
to?
Yeah, let's see if there's any big ones that we can answer. I know that we've had a few questions on whether or not we'll have a recording available. We will. We'll also be sure to send the presentation so you can have it for reference. Let me take a look through the chat and see if there's any very general questions that we think we can read out loud for any of those who may not have been reading through the chat during our presentation. Let's see. Alrighty.
Ashdhir, I would turn on my video too, but it's 4 a.m., so I'm in my pajamas.
That's okay, that's okay. You can show your top view.
Let's see.
So I think you have replied a lot of questions, but will you like to answer some question which you think is useful for everyone? Hugh, are you there or gone?
I think I'll let Dorothy pick the questions.
All righty. Yeah, this chat's been very busy. So the last question we received, is there a plan to have the predictive dialer feature?
See, do you want me to reply on it?
Yeah, the predictive dialing usually is more of an endpoint feature, and we already have that on our GXP phones.
No, Hugh, what they are talking about predictive dialing is that the answering machine detection, okay? When you call outside, when the dialer will dial outside, and there is a voicemail or an answering machine outside, so that call should not get routed back to the agent. And the second prediction is what they are talking about, is that when the average talk time of an agent we set, the call should get routed to it. So my answer to this question is that the prediction and the algorithm is currently right now available with a third party who is creating a dialer which is talking to UCM. There are hardwares available right now which are baby cards and PRI interface available, which a third party can integrate with dialer to detect the answering machine detection. One. Second, the average agent prediction can be done by UCM because all that status is with UCM. Hugh, if I'm not wrong, you can go ahead with it.
No, you're right.
Okay.
Let's see. Another question that we just received, can we integrate the GPS location of the caller?
Hugh, do we have a plan to integrate a Google Maps with it? Because there are some call centers available in the market who integrate the Google Map. So as soon as a call comes in, you get to see the location of the caller.
Yeah, this actually depends also not just on the phone number, but if you're using a SIP trunk, for example, they need to send the specific location information in the special headers. depending on the SIP trunk provider. So we'll, it's very hard to get all the information for every call, but in the future, we will have a feature that will be able to have the geolocation of the phone numbers, but not right now.
Okay.
Wonderful, thank you. We also received some questions regarding if we have a GSM IP PBX. So that was for those who may not have caught that, we do not offer a GSM IP PBX, but you can use a GSM gateway integrated with our IP PBXs for that purpose. We also were asked about FXO integration. So we do have FXO gateways as well as FXS. Typically see that FXS is a little bit more common in contact center deployments, but we do offer the GXW4100 series FXO gateways to add additional FXO ports to any of our IP PBXs. And you can, of course, use, if you need beyond 4 or 8 additional ports, you can use brands of SIP analog FXO gateways. Alrighty, let's see. I'm going to go through the chat again and let's see. So this one is a little bit more extensive. Let's see if we can answer it in live here. So Q, I'm going to direct this one at you. We have a requirement of calls answered by the IVR, and based on the incoming call punch code, the call needs to be transferred to a prefix that's external, and not all calls can be recorded similarly to the caller identity. Is this available in the CDR? Maybe this is a little bit too intense of a question. We might need to refer that to the help desk, but Hugh, do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, I'm not quite clear on what CDR has to do with it, but as far as having the calls come in, depending on what the caller enters, forward that call out to an external number, that can be done, and you can set it to automatically record now as well on our IVR call flow. That's all available, but not quite sure about what the CDR has to do with anything with it. So maybe Frederick, you can elaborate.
Wonderful, thank you. So in the meantime, we'll move on to the next question. Where can I download the CTI software? So we will actually in the follow-up email send you the direct link for where you can download that. It is available on our website if you go to the resources of the UCM 6200 or 6510. It is called Grandstream Affinity. There are guides for it, but we will also send that directly in a follow-up email to make sure that you have the link right there, easily accessible. All right, let's see here. Keep going down a little bit. This will be for Hugh. Can we gasket 2 different models of FXO gateways, 4 and 8 port?
Yeah, I think Krishna, I think you mean to ask if we can cascade 2 different FXO gateway models, and the answer is no. However, you can still pair them and trunk them together, because usually cascade means one device is using the resources of the others as well as failover. Those features are not available on our FXO gateways, but you can set them as trunks as well as failover trunks in the routes or the UCM.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Let's see. Let me take a look if we have any others. One question that I saw earlier and might be important for those in the video talk what is the maximum amount of calls that you can have passing through the IVR?
That would just be the same as the maximum concurrent call limits on each UCM model. So the UCM 6202 is 30, 6204 is 45, and the 6208 is 100.
All right, wonderful, thank you. Next question, and this will be for you as well, Hugh. Is there a plan to integrate the soft phone to CTI?
Yeah, Gustavo, that's a great question. I think there still is a little bit of confusion on what CTI is. CTI means computer telephony integration. It's something that is an application that you use on your computer. So not quite sure how a soft phone plays into this scenario, because a soft phone would be just another endpoint. So what you can technically do is use the CTI app with your Grandstream Wave soft phone, but that other than that, that's really what it was built to do.
Great, thank you. Let's see. So the next question is, have you installed an IPPBX in the hotel industry with third-party PMS systems? If so, do we have the hotel name and PMS? So we wouldn't be able to share any hotel names here without the permission of the hotel, but we do have a recently released suite of PMS features. And you can actually check them out on the resources section of our UCM product pages. So we have some guides there on all the new PMS features available for the hotel industry, and more will be coming as well as we develop this part of the IPPBX further. But yeah, also perhaps Ashdhir, maybe you can share the name of the hotel with the customer after the video talk. So I'll pass that information on to you so we can get that referral going. Alrighty. Next question: why do we have two different passwords for your admin? Oh, sorry, let me read this a little bit better. Why do we not have two different passwords for the system admin and the admin of the IPPBX? Hugh, that might be for you.
Yeah, you can create different passwords for the sysadmin and the super admin under user management of the IPPBX menu. So you can create additional users that way as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's see. And if you have any other questions for everyone still here, feel free to submit them. We'll take another 5 to 10 minutes to get through the questions. If you can't think of them now, or we missed your question, or we finished up before you were able to submit it, you can actually either reply to marketing@grandstream.com. You'll see that in your follow-up email, or in the email where we send the recording and the presentation. You can reply to that email as well with additional questions. So let's see, the next question, how many concurrent Skype calls can be supported by the IPPBX? I'm not sure if Hugh or you want to answer that one?
It depends. If you're talking about just the regular free Skype, that's not supported at all. But if you're using Skype for SIP, or what they changed to Skype for Business, well, then they changed Skype for Business to something else now. But Skype for SIP is the original one. Whatever the maximum concurrent calls that you have subscribed for, again, it's just a regular SIP trunk, so it falls into our maximum concurrent call limits of the UCM, 30, 45, 100, or 200, depending on your model.
Wonderful, thank you. The next question, will multi-tenancy be supported on the UCM system?
Yeah, multi-tenancy is a feature that we're working on right now. Hopefully it'll be released in a future firmware upgrade.
Great, thank you. Let's see, next question. If you are connecting the internet from a gigabit switch router to a Grandstream product that has a normal Ethernet port 10 by 100, will this affect the performance of the Grandstream device?
No, it will not affect, because all of our Ethernet ports are auto-negotiating. So it's just going to auto-negotiate up to 100 megabits per second if you're connecting to a gigabit switch. So it doesn't affect the performance at all.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's see, next question. Is it possible to define a user that could access only fax or can only receive fax from a special fax extension?
Yeah, you can create a user like that.
Wonderful, thank you. And I think this is a good question for Ashdhir. Can we interact with third-party software on the IVR, like web services or ODBCS?
Yeah, once you're on the IVR of a third party, there can be two types of integration, either through a DTMF or web services. So based on the the application which we are creating, we can do that as a third party. We do it a lot of times. All payment gateways and banks do that. Okay.
Wonderful, thank you. And this might be one for you as well, Ashdhir. Do you have any bulk SMS feature for the contact center module?
See, the CRM, the guy who's developing a CRM, okay, like for example, a Cradle has a built-in CRM. So there we have an SMS module which talks to an SMS engine through HTTP API, and we can blast SMSs to every user, every call which is coming in, or we can also do a blast SMS in the morning. So UCM has primarily no role into it.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, you got one more here. This might be a little bit more for Hugh, but let's see. The question is it possible to integrate encryption unit like AED-256 or DES-256 with Grandstream? So customer wants to interage it with the, with the Motor RBO IP Site Connect.
Yeah, the UCM supports AES-256. I think that's a typo there, but it does support that encryption via SRTP. All of our Grandstream phones also support provisioning via AES-256 as well. It depends on what the Moto TRBO IP Site Connect requires, but we can support encryption.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Hugh. So it looks like, let's see, we have two more questions and we'll wrap up, just because we've been here for almost an hour. Maybe you probably have a very busy schedule to get to, and Hugh might want to go back to bed, we'll see. But we'll answer these last two questions, and just to remind everyone, we will have a recording available. We will send the presentation to everyone who attended, so that will be all set. Let's see. Do we have a missed call alert feature available? Hugh, I think this would be for you.
There's two sides to this question. One, all of the endpoints support MWI, message waiting indicator, for missed call alerts. The other is a callback feature that we have on the UCM, where if you're calling somewhere and they don't pick up, with this feature enabled, you can hang up your call, and once they're available, the UCM will call you back to let them know that they're available. So you got two options.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I think we also just received a question, where is our recording going right now? Our recording is actually being done locally, so we will download this and send it to everyone. It is not sent to the cloud automatically after the video talk, so we will be sure to send a recording to everyone. Ashdhir will also get one to you, so you can share it with any other of your customers, because it was great to have you with us, and we really appreciate having you as our special guest today. So yeah, I guess we are all set here, and any other questions, of course, reply to that follow-up email, and we'll continue to answer them there. Unfortunately, we can't sit here all day and answer questions, although we would really like to, but I know Ashdhir is a busy person. We've had you for enough time, so thank you again, Ashdhir. Thank you very much, Hugh, for waking up in the very early hours of the morning to assist, and thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As a reminder, we will send out a recording and a presentation. So thank you again, and thank you, Ashdhir, for joining.
Thank you, Doti, and thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Have a good day, everyone.